Welcome to AGK's Vinyl Life. I'm your host, Anthony K. And today is August 26, 2023. And I'm here at the Henderson Brewing Company, the brewers of Rush Beer. That's right, Rush Beer. And today is Rush Day at the Henderson Brewery Company. It's a Rush fan day here at the Henderson Brewery Company. I'm going to be going for a beer tasting of the various Rush beers. Rush now have 4 different beers out. They have their Golden Ale, they have their Moving Pictures, they have Signals, and they have another beer as well. So I'm here with a friend, and we're going to be going into Henderson Breweries where it's Rush Day. And there's all sorts of Rush events at today's event. There's Rush Trivia, Rush Karaoke. There's a screening of the Time Stand Still documentary movie, as well as there's all sorts of Rush merchandise and Henderson beer and so on. And I'm going to be buying a bunch of stuff here: merch, beer, vinyl LPs, everything. And this is the entrance to the Rush event right here, where you pick up your raffle tickets. There's raffled items. And I'm going to walk you guys in now and give you guys a little tour of Henderson Brewery and the Rush event and the Rush merch stand and the Rush raffle and auction table.
Of course, that would be La Villa, YYZ. Where's my thing? Leave that thing alone. Limbo. The main monkey Christmas tree is just pretty awesome. Hope and elimination. Self-contained. Next, I asked, who's the floor after we noise in the line?
How many shows have you been to?
Yeah.
Russian wine scandals. Okay, next I went back and I asked you how many different official live versions of Tom Sawyer have been released. The answer to that is 11. 11 different official live versions of to delineate that. The Exit Stage Left album version, the Exit Stage Left video version, different stages, Russian Rio, R30, Snakes and Arrows Live, Grace Under Pressure Tour 1984, Time Machine, Clockwork Angels Tour, R40, and the Moving Pictures 40th anniversary.
So lots of food to be had here at Rush Day. Lots of food vendors, lots of beer. My friend's somewhere in the crowd. I kind of lost him, but I'll find him again. My buddy Scott is here. They're doing Rush trivia right now. There's a Rush karaoke. Lots to see, lots to eat. Here at Rush Day, August 26, 2023, at the Henderson Brewery here in Toronto. And I just saw my buddy just walk by there. He's sneaking away on me, sneaking away. So I'm gonna have some fun. I'm gonna drink some Rush beer, have something to eat, and have a good time here at Rush Day. My buddy and I bought a ton of stuff. I bought some vinyl, I bought some beer, I bought some t-shirts, I bought all sorts of things. I'll show you guys what I got afterwards here at Rush Day. And here's a beer tent. And I think it's time for me to have a beer. So I'll see you guys on the flip side with all the things I bought here at Rush Day. GK here, and you are?
I'm Bob King. I'm the Starman.
And this is Bob Kane. He's Starman. People that know the Rush albums, 2112, the famous Starman picture. This is the man who played the Starman. And maybe you can tell us how that came about.
Well, Hugh Syme and I are friends from way back, and we used to work together on different things, music and things. And then Huey got involved with doing the work for Rush, and then Huey got a memo from Neil from Los Angeles about a character that he had created for the new album coming up, and this character was a guy that is totally against the man, and the man was represented is the star, and I'm the guy that was pushing it back, and that's what happened. So Huey and I got together with Yash Inoue, the photographer, at the studio one night, and Huey and I bounced the idea around, and you said, let's.
And that's Huey Syme.
Huey Syme, yeah. And so he said, let's do something to create this character of the man that is not standing for any being pushed around by the corporate people. That's what Neil's idea was, right? And so that person ended up to be me. So I just took off all my clothes and stood up to this star that wasn't even there yet, because Huey drew it in afterwards.
Right.
Yeah, so that's how that happened. Just out of a whim that night that we created that character.
Did you ever think back then that it would become such an iconic picture and an iconic symbol?
No, I'm glad it did. But
I'm glad it did. Well, it's a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for telling us all about that.
All right. Yeah.
Bob
King.
Bob King, guys. Bob King, Starman.
All right.
Up on your way Emotional feedback on a timeless wavelength. Very good beyond price, almost free. All this machinery making modern music can still be open-hearted. Not so poorly charted, it's really just a question of your honesty. Yeah, your honesty. What it likes to believe in the freedom of music. But bitter prices and endless compromises shatter the illusion of integrity. Yeah. Put your hands in the air, Toronto! Invisible airways crackle with light. Light a tank like crystal with the energy. Emotional feedback on a timeless wavelength. Buried in beyond price, almost free. Stephen Brown on that guitar, ladies and gentlemen.
One night, after closing up the bar about 2 o'clock in the morning in wintertime, I was driving to my house and I went down the street. There was nobody anywhere. I came up to a red light, stopped my car. I was driving a little 350 SL Mercedes at the time, which coincidentally was exactly what Neil was driving at the time. So I stop at the light, car comes up towards me, flashes his lights at me. I get out of the car, he gets out of the car, it's Neil. And he says, Bob, you're missing the star on your car. And I said, I know, somebody stole it. And he said, oh, just a minute. And this is a true story. He went to this trunk, he got this little box, gave it to me, he says, well here, now you have your star. And so I had my star for my car, and then all these years later, neither of us knew that I would end up being the Starman. And you know, it's coincidence, whatever.
The name Henderson comes from Robert Henderson, was the original first brewer ever in Toronto. And he actually brewed beer for the military, and they would get their allotment of 5 or 6 beers a day. And that was their payment, and they got beer. Eventually somebody else... Yeah, right? Yeah. 5 or 6 a day. So yeah, that's how they got paid. He came in from Kingston to service the military in the early 1800s. And so yeah, he was the first brewer, and then somebody else came in and took his recipes, started brewing beer, and got him out of business. He later died that year, and then the brewery name changed. It wasn't Henderson anymore. So we are named Henderson in honor of the first brewer of Toronto. And Aidan and Steve, the owners, they have a history of home brewing. So they've been brewing, they've been in the industry for a while. They've been doing sales. They've been doing home brewing in their basement, garage, wherever it is. And kind of how this partnership came about is Steve, he brewed this beer years ago, so about 20 years ago. And the story goes is that he went to school with this girl who said, Geddy Lee is my cousin. And I can prove it because I had this story. His mom would come out yelling, Geddy, get inside or put your scarf on. So he made this beer long ago. Steve made this beer, and it was called Put Your Scarf On, Geddy. And he just made it in his basement, in his garage. Then Henderson came about in 2014. They made, we do it now like a monthly series called The Ides. So you'll see one just came out, the Smoked DSB came out 2 days ago. And this is one of the original ones from 2017, so an Ides series, and they call it Put Your Scarf On, Geddy. Later that month, Geddy got the beer, and it was like someone gave it to him, was like, hey, you gotta try this beer, like your name's on it, your picture's on it. And the story's at the bottom, so feel free to come take a look at this after, take a picture with it, but he actually ended up signing it. And that's how it came about. So he tried this beer with his name on this picture and the story. Who knows if it's actually true. Geddy hasn't told me yes or no yet. But he got a hold of this beer. He's like, I want to make more beer. I want Rush to be on I want a beer. So I need to find a brewery to do it. So he asked the owners. He asked Steve and Aiden. He was like, "Can we make a beer?" And I said, "Yeah, absolutely." So they sat down over the course of a couple of days and tried about 100 beers. And they were like, "This is what we want. We want something that's easy drinking, with a little bit of character, but very easy drinking." So they brewed a lagered ale. So it's a very sessionable ale. So you're gonna get your lagers versus your ales. So your lagers or anything like a Budweiser, really cold temperatures, very easy to drink, crisp, and ales are everything else. So lots of character. Malts can change it up a little bit, but this is a easy drinking Canadian golden ale. The reason it's called Canadian, this is all Canadian ingredients. So even the hops are Canadian. The malts, hops, everything in there. So there's gonna be 5 beers today, more like smaller samples. So I don't know if any of you guys have done a beer sampling before. It's not so different from doing a wine sampling or a whiskey sampling, except for you're gonna take a bigger sip, right? But similar, you would smell the hops right off the nose, and then the malts are gonna give it that color and that taste and the flavor. Hops can change pininess, the citrus, and the aroma.
And we're back. And I hope you guys all enjoyed that little vlog of Rush Day, which was yesterday. I filmed all that yesterday at the Rush Day here in Toronto, Ontario, August 26, 2023. The first ever Rush Day hosted by Henderson Breweries, who make the fantastic Canadian-made Rush beer, designed by Henderson Breweries in conjunction with Alex Lifeson and Geddy Lee, who designed the beers and worked closely with the team to make the beers. And what started as one beer, a golden ale, has sprouted into multiple beers, seasonal beers and limited edition beers. And it was a wonderful, wonderful, fun day at Rush Day yesterday. I got some free memorabilia, and I purchased a ton of memorabilia as well as beer. It was just a fantastic, fun day. There were so many things going on there at the Rush Day. I hope you guys all enjoyed the look at the brewery and everything. When we walked in, we were given this little card here, which was actually a program of the day's events, which were Become a Certified Beer Genius, guided tastings hosted every hour from 1 to 6 p.m., which we, and there were limited spots, which we signed up for. So we were able to do the beer tasting. There was Rush karaoke a couple times in the day. It was fun to watch the various people do karaoke's. There were a few bands there that were tribute bands, Rush tribute bands, who stood up in karaoke as well. And you might have seen a little snippet of one of those actual tribute vocalists singing in the karaoke shot I did in my video. There was Rush trivia. There was a couple sessions of Rush trivia, which they gave out prizes. There was Rush storytelling, where they had a couple authors that had done Rush books that were discussing, stories about Rush and their experiences writing about Rush. There was a Rush raffle. There was a screening of Time Stand Still later in the night, which I didn't stay for, but there was also a screening of Time Stand Still, the Rush movie. So that was what we were given when we came in. We were also given a complimentary ticket stub, so that we could at least have an official ticket to keep as a collector's item in our ticket books. That is Rush Day, better than being hit in the head with a hammer. Free entry. This was the Rush ticket we were given. Some other things I was given. I was given right here. This is a label. This is an actual label that they would put on the bottles of beer from a previous line of Rush beer. This one was called Rush Moving Pitchers, as in pitchers of beer. It was a line that I did I did see, and they talked about during the wine tasting, the beer tasting. It was a past limited edition beer that only, I think they said they only brewed about 600 bottles or something of it. But here's an actual label from one of those past editions of beer, which is no longer available. They do have these limited edition beers, which I think are very cool. Of course, when we walk through the door, we got this beautiful little Rush Day pin. And as you can see, I'm sporting some Rush merch that I picked up at the merch counter. A Rush 1974 limited edition cap, and then of course the Rush Day shirt, one of many Rush Day shirts. They had T-shirts, they had hoodies, all sorts of Rush Day stuff. But I love this one. This is a Rush Day limited edition shirt, and it has such a beautiful back on it. I'll spin around there with, of course, the Starman on the back. And 8th, 26, 23, the official Rush Day shirt. I love this shirt. Fantastic shirt. So I picked that up at the merch stand. But that's not all, folks. Lots more stuff. These they gave us after the beer tasting. This is the drink coasters. This is one Rush Xanabrew, which we'll talk about in a minute. And Rush Xanabrew beer coaster, drink coaster. And a Rush Golden Ale beer poster from Henderson Breweries. So all those cool things, and then of course all day they were serving Rush beer, which you could buy, and all the various beers. I think it was mainly the Golden Ale you could buy, not the limited edition beers. But they were serving Rush beer, and they gave us, when you bought your beer, you got them in these little plastic cups. I gotta wash this one out. I saved it. This little plastic cups here for the Rush beer. So those are some few little freebie things I got there, other than the shirt and the hat, which I of course bought at the merch table. The beer tasting was a lot of fun. I had a great time, and I caught a buzz I caught a buzz at that beer tasting. Just a little buzz, nothing drastic, because they gave you these little shot glasses of beer, but kind of cool. I met an author there, an author of a very famous Rush book about the Rush. And me and my friend talked with his author. He did a little presentation, and then me and my friend and I talked with him. And he gave me this license plate frame right here. Very nice. Thank you very much. He gave me this wonderful license plate frame. I'd rather be at a Rush concert. So that was another little freebie I received on a Rush Day. A lot of fun there. And like I said, I had the beer tasting, and after the beer tasting, they gave us our official certificate here. And I haven't even read it yet, so... certified Beer Genius. This certificate is proudly presented to Anthony K. By the Institute of Better Beer Sciences and Beer Philosophy in recognition of having demonstrated ingenuity in the areas of nozzles and vats, and of course understanding the Schmelgica, what? Schmelgica, and where to find it. The recognized individual has thereby attained the designation of Certified Beer Genius. August 26, 23. Alex Lyson, signed by Alex Lyson and Geddy Lee. So very, very cool. My official, I'm officially, AGK is officially a beer genius now. Certified by Alex Lyson and Geddy Lee. Absolutely fantastic, man. I hadn't read it until just this moment. Absolutely fantastic. We'll just put that down here. Absolutely fantastic. So let's just a little some of the things. And then I've got a few other things that I picked up at the thing. Of course, as you guys saw, there was all sorts of Rush stage props there. All the money, proceeds of all this stuff from Rush Day are going to the Neil Peart statue that is being erected at Lakeside Park. So a good portion of the proceeds from this Rush Day event are being donated to Lakeside Park, to the building of the memorial Neil Peart statue. So what else did I pick up at Rush Day? Just a few more things. I'll go through the beers first. This was another thing that we got, getting the VIP. We got what was kind of the VIP ticket, which included the beer tasting and this growler right here, this 64-ounce beer growler, Rush Day beer growler, Golden Ale beer growler, 64 ounce, with the beautiful Starman logo on the back. This beautiful beer growler was one of the other things that we got as part of our VIP admission. So I got that. And now the last few things I got left here to show you guys that I picked up are, of course, the products, the beer products, and then some more memorabilia, some really exciting memorabilia. So first, of course, is the Rush Golden Ale, and which is their main beer, the one that you can find in liquor stores and beer stores here in Ontario, and I think in Canada. Probably, I think, in select places in the U.S. now as well. I know that the sports arenas here now apparently serve it. The Rogers Centre and the Scotiabank Arena all sell this beer now. But I got this particular limited edition collector cans case. So here we have the actual Rush Golden Ale beer can, but this is a limited edition case giving tribute to the first 3 Rush albums, as you can see by the cans. The debut album, Fly By Night, and Caress of Steel. This is a limited edition box, and as you can see, here's the back of the box. This is a limited edition, which I believe is finished now, and what they have left will be sold off, and then when they're gone, they're gone. The next edition of the limited edition case apparently will be the next 3 Rush albums. So really cool. And of course they have beer in them, so I'm gonna have to drink all this beer, but I'm gonna be very careful to open the cans, drink the beer, and then save the cans in the box and everything. But the limited edition Rush beer, case of beer based on the first 3 Rush albums. Really, really cool. And of course, for the day themselves, they also had the Rush Golden Ale that I just showed you there in a limited edition Rush Day beer can as well. Very, very cool. And what else do we have here? And then the next thing I'm going to show you here before I show you these other 3 beers, this is a newer product. Also created by, with Getty and Alex's involvement. This is Rush Canadian Golden Ale Prepared Mustard. It's a wheat-based prepared mustard. It's supposed to be really good. I'm excited to put this on my next burger or sausage. This is a jar of Rush Golden Ale Prepared Mustard made with the Rush Golden Ale in it. So it's a beer mustard, so I'm excited to try that. And then last but not least, the other 3 beers. These are all limited edition, seasonal limited edition beers. One of them is already finished, and they sold the last of the bottles off at the event. So I'm really happy to have one of these bottles. The first one I'm going to show you guys here is, let's go in order here of strength. These Rush Golden Ale has a 5.5% alcohol level. Most people know that here in Canada, our beers are either 4.5%. I think for light beers, it's 4.5% alcohol. And average beers are 5% alcohol. This is what would be one of the stronger beers normally in Canada that you can buy in a liquor store. I think about the strongest you can buy normally in Canada, which is a 5.5% alcohol per volume for the Golden Ale. So it's a little stronger, little tad stronger than your average Canadian beer, and a point stronger than a light beer. But these, it's a whole different story. And which one am I going to start off with here? I'm going to start off with the weakest of them. Okay, so this is one of their newest brews, and these only come in 500 milliliter bottles, and they are limited edition. This is a seasonal beer. This is a spring beer. It's a seasonal beer so it's only available for a limited time. And these 3 bottles of beer here are only available from the Henderson Brewery, from the Rush Brewery, which is located here in Toronto. You can only buy them directly from the brewery. You won't find them in liquor stores or beer stores. You have to go directly to the brewery. I think they have you can order them online as well. But the first of them, this is called Rush, and I showed you a coaster a second ago. This is Rush's Xanabrew. So instead of Xanadu, it's Rush's Xanabrew. These are 500 milliliter bottles. But get this, the alcohol content on this one. This is a Spring 2023 limited edition. That's right, limited edition. Belgian style extra strong ale. And the alcohol level on this one is 10.5%. So a 500 milliliter bottle of this at 10.5% is going to get you pretty hammered. And the beer guy had said that when Alex was trying the last beer I'm going to show you, I'll wait to tell you about that one after. But this is Rush's Xanabrew. So I bought one bottle of this, 500 milliliters. Don't know when I'm going to drink it, but certainly I'm going to drink it soon. They have a shelf life, he said, of about 3 years if you keep them cold. They have a shelf life of about 3 years if you keep them cold. That's the Xanabrew by Rush. The next one is also a limited edition beer. And this one is a limited edition for 20. This one's now, I think it's finishing. Soon this one is going to be finishing, if I'm not mistaken. It was to celebrate the release of Signals. And this is an extra strong beer. What's this one? Extra strong Belgian style blonde with Riesling must and whole pressed apples. This was, of all the beers I tried, the Golden Ale, the other three, the 4 beers I tried, this was my favorite. It was so delicious. It was almost like wine. You could taste the apples in it. So just a really, this was my favorite. I love this. But this one has a alcohol level of 11.9%. Yes. And this is Rush Signals. That's right. Rush Signals. 11.9% alcohol on this puppy right here. 500 milliliter bottle. So this one's going to get you more hammered than that one if you drink this whole bottle pretty fast. Rush Signals. Limited edition beer. Beautiful bottles, beautiful. I mean, I bought them mainly. I mean, obviously I want to try the beers, but I bought them mainly for to collect the bottles. Beautiful bottles and labels on them, and little Rush Starman caps on the bottles. And then the third and last one, which is now sold out. They finished selling them off at the event. This one here, which I don't know when I'm going to drink this one because this is going to be dangerous. This is the Moving Pictures 40th Anniversary Limited Edition Ale, which is already, this is a extra strong beer. It doesn't talk about what the style of beer. I like this one too, but man, I got a buzz from the shot of it that they gave me at the beer tasting. And get ready for this, folks. This is Rush Moving Pictures, which is now finished. It was, I believe, if I remember right, there was only 1,000 bottles of this bottled. So I'm happy to have one of the 1,000 bottles. I can't remember what the number of brewing bottles are in these other 2 beers, but they are limited. But there's only 1,000 of these bottles released, made, poured, capped. 1,000 bottles available of this, and I'm happy to own one of them. And the alcohol content in this beer, are you ready, folks? 14% alcohol. And the brewmaster that we talked to tells the story of how when Alex Lyson was there at the brewery, because Alex and Getty have been very involved in the whole beer making process. When Alex drank this, he said he got completely hammered, and said, "Yeah, we got to sell this." So Alex got hammered on that. 14% alcohol. This is crazy. Imagine drinking this 500 milliliter bottle at 14% alcohol. Like, good night, Anthony. I'll see you in a week if I drink this. So maybe I'll have to share this with a bunch of friends one night or something. So Rush Moving Pictures beer. So those are the beers. Those are all the beers, the mustard. And the last couple of things I got to show you guys that I picked up there. And this is Rush Gigs, found on the studio walls and in concert halls. Does that line kind of sound familiar? Gorgeous book, Rush Gigs, found on the studio walls and concert halls. It's a collection of all sorts of posters, ticket stubs, everything and anything from Rush tours. A gorgeous, gorgeous, beautiful, beautiful book. Beautiful, beautiful book from all of the tours of Rush. Absolutely a thrill to own this book. Just a fantastic picture book with a foreword. And this was written or put together by a fellow by the name of, and I can't pronounce his last name, so forgive me. But this book was put together by Ray Wozniak. And there was a few people that were involved, but Ray was the main fellow Ray W, we'll just call him Ray W, was one of the main contributors to the production of this book. And he was there. He was one of the people telling Rush stories. And he actually, I don't know if you can see it because it's written in silver, but he actually autographed my copy of the book. So thrilled to have an autographed copy of this wonderful, wonderful Rush book. And then the last couple things I've got here to show you guys. These were only $5. This was $5 at the merch table. And no, it's not a record album. No, it's not a record album. It is actually a set of prints. 12-inch prints. Rush 40th anniversary 12-inch prints replicating some record covers and things. And we'll just show you a few of them here. Good for framing and putting up on your wall. A set of Rush prints. LP-sized Rush prints. It's really cool. And that was only $5 at the merch table. Bargain. Why not, right? And the last two things I'm going to show you guys today. As you saw in my video, in my little vlog there, I met the Starman. That's right. The Starman. This guy right here. He was there. I met the Starman. And as you can see, I talked to him and interviewed him. Had a beer with him, actually. Had a beer with the Starman. And I picked this up at the merch table. Actually, my friend gifted me this as well as the book at the merch table. A slip mat, turntable slip mat, Rush turntable slip mat. A Rush Day turntable slip mat, so it's a two-sided slip mat. And as you can see, to Anthony, Bob King, Starman autograph. So Bob King, the Starman, autographed this slip mat for me. What a great piece of memorabilia to have. Such an iconic logo. And so the Starman autographed the slip mat for me. So thrilled to have this. And the very last thing I picked up, like all this stuff I got Rush Day. Oh my God, my wallet was hurting when I left there. And the last thing I bought, and as soon as I saw it on the merch table, I had to have it. Because I don't believe these are in print anymore. I think they're not, whatever's available out there on the market is what's left of the current run of this box set. But this box set I got for half of what you'll find it on, say, Amazon on, or half of what you'll find it on that secondary market like Discogs on. This is the 2019 press of Rush Clockwork Angels Tour 5 LP box set. The 5th LP has an etching on the last side. And this was literally half of what you pay anywhere for this album. Retail. Half of retail price. As soon as I saw it on the merch table and saw the price tag, I knew right away what these go for. And so I'm absolutely thrilled to pick this up on Rush Day. Rush Clockwork Angels 5 LP box set. I got it for half of what they sell for retail. Half of what you'll buy one on Discogs in the secondary market used for. So absolutely thrilled to get this for half of what they go for. Absolutely thrilled. And that was the last thing I picked up. And that's it. That's all. I hope you enjoyed this little look at my trip to the Rush Henderson Brewery for Rush Day 2023. Apparently they're going to do it again next year. This was the first year they've ever done it. Apparently next year, at the same time of the year, they're going to have another Rush Day next year. So I'll probably go back to that one if I'm still alive and kicking. And I hope you enjoyed this video. And I'll see you guys really soon. Until then, drink some beer and rock and roll.